Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. It has been a while since we filmed anything. I think the last video I uploaded was almost a year ago. Now, last video I did mention this car, but I haven't really shown it off. And of course, I don't really talk much about what I do, but in this case, I decided to make a video on it. We're actually gonna install some Bavsound subwoofers. They're really nice, honestly, compared to the stock ones. They're a lot higher build quality. They're made out of metal instead of plastic. They're a lot heavier, and they provide a lot deeper of a sound. The actual clarity on them is going to be a lot better. As you can see, we're looking at the T50 bolts in the front. We have to take out the seats to get the sub, which is what this is. So I push the seat all the way back. We come in with the T50, and you're going to loosen these. Now, according to BMW, they want you to replace these bolts after every use. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to do that. That's up to you. I'm just giving you the information. But you'll basically just take that one out. You'll do the same over here. Take both sides out. Unscrew it. And then you'll push the seat all the way forward and take out the two in the back. We're going to take out the T50s back here, which is a little bit more inconvenient just because of the angle that you have to go at. Back seat doesn't have as much room as the front seat. Now, I'm not that tall, so, I mean, my back seats have some decent leg room still. But, I mean, it's still uncomfortable compared to the front seat, where it's just easily accessible. But as we take out these two, which this one doesn't seem to want to come out, we'll be able to lift the seat up, and I'll be able to show you a cable that you don't want to undo, or else you'll be taking your car to the shop to clear some codes and get your seat recalibrated, because I believe it sets off the airbag light if you unplug it, from what I've understood. I also believe that cable underneath there has to do with the ambient lighting in the footwell back here, so that might mess with it also, because the lighting's in the seat. I might be able to show that also once we lift the seat up, but I am not for sure. We will not know until we get there. I ain't gonna lie, these screws, these bolts, whatever you want to call them, suck. All right, there we go. Here's your two T50s in the back. They're the same exact as the front, so it doesn't really matter how you put them back in if you end up reusing them, or like I said, as per BMW, you can go get them replaced. All right, so we have all four bolts out. They're sitting here in the floorboard right here. Make sure you don't lose them, because you're gonna need to keep them to keep your seat in place. But now we're just gonna lift the seat up and back. Now, if you're finding it hard to keep the seat back, what I recommend is you come back here and you take your back seat belt and just wrap it around the headrest. It'll keep it from falling forward on you. And holy, I do need to vacuum here. Okay, so this is where we're going. I'm kind of glad I'm pulling it out because it looks like someone spilt some soda here. So we're gonna take a T20, which should fill in, yep, directly in there. I don't know why I have seemed to misplace my smaller ratchet, so we're gonna use a flathead screwdriver. I don't condone this. We're here to try and take speakers out, not to be correct about everything. All right, so we're having issues with this screw here. The issue being we had sand in it, so the T20 wouldn't seat. But we got it seated now. We got the piece of sand out. You just unscrew it. There's 4 screws, one at each corner. Now we are doing this on a 2023 3 Series. It's a G20 is the code name for it. You might have different luck with the older prior to 2019, I believe 2018 and below. The speakers used to be screwed into the housing. The subs used to be screwed into the housing. Nowadays, they're not. They're actually glued in place. So specifically, this sub will take out the housing. If I can get the screw, there we go. Like I was telling him to move the camera to, this is what I'm telling you not to unplug, which is what this giant cable going into the floor is. You don't want to unplug that because it has to do with like the airbag system and a bunch of other within the seat. If you get down below here, it might be a hard angle to get. That's going to be your ambient footwell lighting right there, that light. I have mine set to coral, that's why it looks a little pink. But if you're ever wondering if your backseat light's working and where it's at, there you go, there's your answer. Now this last one's, I don't know how easy it will be for the camera to see, but it is an absolute pain in the ass for me to unscrew it. It is terrible. Now, you want to try and keep your carpet as good as possible. I'm actually going to go through and probably vacuum underneath here because this looks absolutely disgusting. The rest of my car looks good, but I don't ride on this side of my car. So let me pull this out. It just comes up. I'm also going to clean this because it's sticky. Someone spilt pop or something. But there you go. There's your speaker. It's terrible. It's ugly. It's not very good quality. Now, we are going to have to go get, what would you say that is? Think it's a 10 mil? I hope not. We'll end up losing it. Cameraman was right. It's a 10 mil. The first 10 mil that we looked for, funny enough, was missing. So we had to go find another 10 mil. We found it though, so that's good. So yeah, you have two that you need to take out, which are going to be this one in the front, and then there's going to be one right here, basically where my finger is. The camera's not going to be able to pick it up, and I don't even honestly know how I'm going to take it out. That's going to be a pain in the ass to do, if I'm being quite honest, just because of where it's at. You kind of got to get at it like a little bit of an angle, honestly. It's kind of terrible, but this is how you do it. It's straight, but the carpet kind of gets in the way. But there's two of those, and then you should be able to just... Now, I'm going to take this out. This is your little vent, your feet vent to the back. It just hooks in right here. I'm going to take it out just to give us some more room. And here is the sub. Now, like I had mentioned, you'll need the trim tool down for the bottom over here. You got one in this corner right here. I'm going to try and get to. That's the first one. You got one on this side also. I just got to find it. There we go. All right, once you get that unplugged, you can finagle it out. Now be careful, because the wire is still plugged in. There's a little tab on this wire. Push in while pull out. Yep. All right, there's your speaker assembly. This wire on the back side has a little tab here you gotta push in. A little difficult to do. I just stuck the corner of the trim tool into it and it fit perfectly. Yours might be a little different. Now we're not done yet. We actually have to go inside now because this is the speaker and the assembly, and we need to take the speaker out of said assembly. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use a heat gun to remove this from the housing. For whatever reason, BMW thought it would be a good idea to glue it in instead of screw it in. Personally, I prefer screwing it. So we're gonna use a heat gun to remove this. Now, don't burn yourself. I am gonna check and make sure that it's hot though. It is not hot. All right, sorry about that cut. They're working outside the house around us. So we're trying to record around it, but you wanna heat it up. You have these tabs. You wanna peel back and unhook. Now this might be a little difficult to get. You're basically just pushing the speaker out while also undoing the tabs. Now, I can tell you now, I didn't heat up the glue enough because, yeah, this isn't even moving. I'm assuming this will take less than 5 minutes. I feel like after 5 minutes, you're gonna start melting plastic, which we do not want to do. All right, so we have two bad things. the good thing is we finally got the fucking speaker out. God, that was horrendous. It's glued literally all the way around. The bad thing is we kind of broke it right here. Now, the cone itself is... I don't know if we got the footage of it taken out because the battery died. The footage might be corrupted. That's kind of what happens sometimes. But we got it out. Like I was trying to explain, there's two bad things about this. First off, 90% sure I trashed the speaker. There's a tiny little nick here in the corner. This is completely cracked. And then there's a little nick on the cone. This being broken, I'm not really worried about. It's more so the cone. So this might be done for. Luckily, we're upgrading. I don't plan on reusing this. So that being said, you'll need the self-tapping screws, a Phillips screwdriver. They say a drill. Use a drill if you feel uncomfortable. The secondary negative, I would say, is you have to heat this up pretty well. We're just prying on it. It actually melted the plastic with me pushing with the flathead. That's not, like, you can feel it. It's not because I pushed it and like broke, because this plastic's brittle. It's the same plastic as here. No, it actually melted it when I pushed with the screwdriver. That's how warm you have to get these things. But here is, here's the new speaker. It's metal. There is a magnet at the bottom. The magnet's on top here. The cone is a lot nicer. You can't really see it. This should give a 10 decibel gain on the sub. So this should sound a lot better. Now, it does take about 20 hours for these speakers to open up, which is typical with higher end audio speakers. It takes a little bit for those subs to actually finally start working as the manufacturer wants them to. That's nothing against the manufacturer. That's just kind of standard. The plastics and all the materials that the cone's made out of have to, you know, get worked in, this, that, and the other. So your goal, set it in here, try and get it as centered as possible. Now you're going to want to push a little bit because these are self-tapping screws, and you want these screws to do just that and tap. Now if you're just spinning it without pushing it down, you're not really doing shit. I'll actually be able to flip this over and show you. Now here's the thing. You don't want these too tight, but you do want to snug them up. Once you start seeing it compress is pretty much when you want to stop. You'll actually see that screw sticking out right there. So it's not really going to interfere with anything, but there's a gasket between the sub and the housing built into the sub on the bottom. I should have shown it. If we go here, you can actually see it right there. You want it to compress a little bit, not all the way. It stops the rattling noise. Because, I mean, even with the stock subs, like, cameraman was in the car listening to it. They slap a little bit, don't they? Even though they're stock. These are supposed to be, I think it's like 20 to 40% louder over stock. So there's definitely some gain to be had here. It's a good seal all the way around, but it's not fully compressed, so it still has some wiggle room. So it gets rid of all the vibrations within the sub. So we're going to clean out underneath the seat, and then we'll get back to installing this back into the car, which will be a little bit difficult because we have to put, which, by the way, I didn't mention this. It sits in the car like this, and that wire I was telling you about actually clips in here and here. So that wire runs right along this side here. You kind of got to like put the speaker in at an angle like that and then drop it in, because the bolts, that's that back bolt I was telling you about that you can't really see. But we got to clip these back in, slide it back in, bolt it back in, and then put the cover over. Make sure you plug it back in, and then we'll be good to go to start on the driver's side. So two things you need to worry about. This cord here, right, that plugs into the side, and then the actual cord that plugs into the sub. You kind of need to watch out for those. Now we're going to place the sub kind of where it needs to go. It is a little difficult. Like I said, with all this sound deadening, which is kind of like what this shit is, it's also what this black stuff is on the car. It helps with noise, but I mean, it's still not the best, right? And you're gonna kind of want to wiggle this around until you can feel it seat into where it's supposed to be. That's basically where it's supposed to be. So now I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna push that back in, backside. God, I thought finding the hole would be a little bit easier than that, but I guess not. If you got a little bit smaller hands, this might be a little bit easier. I got some stubby ass fingers though. It's a pain in the ass to get back here. Thread it on a little bit, right? You're gonna want to do that with both of them, and then we'll come back with that little 10 mil that we got. Tighten them all the way down. Put the carpet back. Put the mesh back on, and then we'll have a new sub installed. Honestly, let's be real here. Just taking a look at this, this looks a lot better than the stock speaker, even though it's going to be covered up by a grill. And we probably won't be able to see it. I still think it looks pretty good if you ask me. I don't want to over tighten these. I'm kind of just hand tightening them. Because the housing of this is just plastic, right? Hand tight. Once you start getting resistance, I do like another 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn. Call it good. Here's the fun part. So when we go to lay this seat back down, we're actually going to want to put this cable over here. It feeds through like that. We can't right now just because of how it's sitting, but oh, I put it there. We did clean, kind of. Okay, yeah, had to knock off all the water. We did clean the mesh, so it looks a lot nicer now. This part is pretty easy. You kind of just set it back, and you put the screws back in, which that was the T15, or the T20, sorry, T20. All right, that's in. So now we just gotta undo the seatbelt buckle on the headrest, lower the seat back down. Now, the issue is trying to like halfway lower this while feeding that cable in. Okay, so cable's where it's supposed to be. Lower this down, grab your T50, your socket, grab your 2 nuts, and then we'll head to the back. All right, so I'm just tightening these bolts in. Honestly, setting the chair down isn't that hard. Now, I'm not going to fully tighten these bolts down because we'll actually need a torque wrench for that. I got to go find that. So for now, we'll just place them where they need to be, and then I'll go back with a torque wrench. If I remember correctly, it's 45 foot-pounds. All right, so I don't have a torque wrench with me, but cameraman does have a torque wrench at his house. So for now, we're just gonna give it a little tug here and there and call her good until we get to his house, and then we'll actually torque these to specs. But for now, that should do for like, what, 5-minute drive to your house. As you can see, I'm screwing this one down. I'm just gonna get these threaded through and then tighten them down. That is the first sub done. This is the end of the video. We're about to torque down the T50s real quick. Honestly, the subs sound amazing. I can't complain. They sound like they're not fully broken in yet, but even still, immediately you can tell that they're a lot punchier. You can actually feel them in the seats now, even at like 3/4 volume. I normally, if my windows are down, I'm normally pushing it, but I mean, even still, we had the windows up. We had it in between halfway and 3/4, and that shit was thumping. But if you like the video, make sure you like, comment, share, follow, subscribe if you haven't. Always helps. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Of course, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next videos, because the next 2 items that are coming in for this car are pretty exciting, in my opinion. But peace. We wait. Is the mic picking it up?
As of right now, no.
Let me know if it starts picking it up, and let me know when you're recording.
I've been recording.
Oh, shit. All right.